Hello, everybody. Dean Machine here, and welcome back to Buried. Yeah. So, last time we left off, we were in this strange underground facility. Um, that we got. How did we get there? I forget. Oh, yeah, we fell in a sinkhole. Okay. So, let us start chapter 2. Ooh, spooky. Particle collider tunnel? Maybe? We're standing on a thin platform of what looks like a fancy subway. The rails look well used but not old. There are small overhead lights that are very dim, as if they were running on emergency power. The dim overhead lights are a blessing, but the size of the place makes me feel vulnerable. Staring ahead, the tunnel seems to be endless. It's almost dizzying. There's a small light further ahead, and then a space that breaks the monotony of the tunnel's curved surface. Another platform, maybe? We're gonna ask Dennis what he thinks this is. It looks like we're waiting for the D train, Dennis said with a deadly sounding crackle. Also, the ringing noise is louder down here. It's much more solid now, and there's some other sound. Something like the faint hum of machinery. What's your take on this, boss? You think we're safe here? Dennis asks. Not at all. This is what I think to myself, but I don't want to let Dennis see that I'm rattled. While he seems to be limping along much better than when we first stumbled into this place, he's still in rough shape. I'm leading him here. I should probably make him feel confident in that. Yeah, I think confidence is good here. Oh. We're too far in to go back, I say. Besides, if we're caught for trespassing, I'm pretty sure we'd slide by. We're good. You're in pain, and we've got to find the rest of our crew. They could still be here somewhere. Dennis nods and looks reassured, albeit weak and miserable. From the looks of it, we can go either left or right. The left is slightly lit, the right not so much. This makes me uneasy, because I get the feeling that one wrong turn in this place, and this would have us wandering for hours. Suddenly, I jerk my head to the right, and hear the unmistakable sound of someone walking. Did you hear that? Dennis asks, my eyes straining to see anything in the darkness. Not sure, he says. Maybe. It kind of sounded like footsteps. I wait for a moment, but the sound doesn't come again. So those are our options. To the left are flickering lights indicating that we'll at least be able to see. There's also a hum of machinery, a sign of life. To the right, it's just darkness, but we also heard footsteps in that direction. Ooh. Footsteps in the darkness or light. That's a tough one. I'm going to have to go with the left on this. Yeah. I also just realized something. Hang on a second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, let's go left. Seems smart to stay in the light. Left it is. Ugh. As we head left, the lights ahead are like a beacon in the darkness, luring us forward. Someone left the lights on for us, Dennis said, trying to be funny but creeping me out instead. I wonder if that's good or a bad thing, I say. As we near the lights, I hear the hum of machinery grow louder, but it doesn't sound like any machine I've ever heard. As the lights increase, I use it to take inventory of Dennis and his condition. While the bleeding seemed to have stopped, the amount that he soaked into his pants and shirt is beyond alarming. How much further can you walk? I ask him. Can you keep going? Yes, Dennis says. Let's walk into the deep tunnel that has no business being here. Now fully stepping into the light, I notice that the sound of machinery is coming from an area on the left side that is protected by a guardrail. Wisps of bright blue light dance on the walls as they leak out from whatever is below. I also noticed this posted sign that says, "Danger, severe radiation poisoning threat." Radiation is typically bad. Just saying. Dennis, I don't think we should get near whatever is down there, I say. Dennis studies the blue light a bit longer, and then nods. He's hurting enough as it is. I don't think we need to add radiation poisoning to his list of ailments. Or mine, for that matter. We step away and take off down the tunnel again. As I start walking, I notice another structure coming into view up ahead. Another structure. Interesting. As we head further into the tunnel, we reach another platform. There's light coming from the platform, but like the overhead lights, they are dim, red emergency lights. I start to wonder if the explosion at the logging site caused the power outage in this place, whatever this place is. The ringing noise that I originally thought was in my head is getting louder. I'm starting to think it's some sort of alarm. When we come to a large open room ahead in the tunnel, it further resembles a subway station. As much as I try to ignore the reality, it's undeniable. We have stumbled into some sort of high-tech transportation system that is buried beneath the fortress of Kentucky. The forest of Kentucky. Fortress. What am I thinking? It makes absolutely no sense and creates an entirely new sort of fear to whatever the hell we've walked into. I notice that Dennis seems confident, though. When we reach the large opening, we have to climb over the rails and up on one of the platforms. I have to help Dennis over the rails and then up a small utility ladder that's bolted to the opposite side of the travelway. When he reaches the large open area resembling a subway waiting area, he collapses on the floor and lets out a heaving breath. "You know what?" Dennis said, exasperated. "This is ridiculous. I quit. I'm not going any further." On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of... Oh, my mind just blanked, Jesus. On top of worrying about my crew and the madness of whatever we are, I'm not in the mood for Dennis to act like a baby. I thought I heard someone in my house, sorry. Let's comfort him, I say. That seems like the best solution here. I'm not the one with the gash in my side, I think to myself, so I decide to cut him some slack. "Damn, boss. I'm sorry," he says. "It's okay," I say. "I don't know how you're still on your feet, if I'm being honest." "Stubbornness," he says with a weak laugh. "You need a minute to rest?" I ask, as warmly as I can muster. "No, if I sit and rest, I'm afraid I might not get back up. Let's keep going while I can still go." I reach down to help him to his feet, and then we get ourselves up onto the platform. Right in front of us, there's an entrance to a long hallway exiting the platform area. It's at this point that I realize those red emergency lights might be on for someone else who's actually supposed to be here. Hold on a minute. I will be right back. And I'm back. I don't know why I'm so damn jumpy today. Anyway. We're gonna stay quiet. I'm not sure if I want to alert anyone of the fact that there are strangers in this secret place, and the thought of hearing a scream, even my own scream, in this empty place is too much to bear. The emergency lights continue to flicker overhead, casting a sick sort of pinkish light on everything. My mind is racing with what sort of place this might be. It's obvious that it's meant to be secret. And if it is supposed to be a secret, and there was a power outage recently, maybe most everyone has been evacuated. This thought does nothing to make me feel better as we walk towards the platform exit. We step inside, and it seems just as empty as every other place we've come through, weakly illuminated by overhead emergency lights. We're standing inside a hallway, that looks surreal for the moment. Ooh, I dropped water on me. Oh, it's my chair that's squeaking. I thought that was... okay. The hallway reminds me of a hospital wing, but there's something not quite right about it. It's the first clean and tidy area we've seen since coming into the woods. It looks like it was recently in use, despite the dim emergency lights overhead. There are chairs against the walls, and the floor looks well cleaned, as do the walls. The ringing noise is definitely coming from here, and a small flashing red light along the ceiling seems to flash along with it. That ringing noise is an alarm, I say, only to confirm my own thoughts. But for what? Dennis asks. And then he asks the question that has been on my mind since we fell in that hole. What the hell is this place? We exchange a look that speaks volumes. We reach the end of the hallway and hear a sound like a large metallic grinding. This is followed by a clinking noise, and then the unmistakable noise of a generator kicking on. Okay, that's cool. Oh, it's all lit up. How nice. Without warning, the facility jolts to life. The red glow of the emergency lights is suddenly replaced by the bright white fluorescent ones. That mechanical hum is oddly comforting. Somehow, the power being back on urges us on. It's then that I notice the ringing noise has stopped, and it had been an alarm, but for what? Just the power failure? We head down the hallway, the electrical hum of the lights sounding eerie overhead. Other than that, this place is dead quiet. The hall is about 100 feet long with two main doors. The door opens into a large room that looks like a conference room with a whiteboard and paper strewn about. Across the hallway, another door looks like a laboratory of some sort. Dennis slumps against the wall, defeated, and lets out a scary-sounding chuckle. Something funny? I ask as a dark and brooding panic starts to grip me. Dennis just keeps chuckling as he slides down the floor. I'm just going to sit here a while you look around, he says. There's a look in his eyes that reminds me far too much of a dead animal on the side of the road. Enter the conference room or enter the lab. Let's see. I'm a man of science myself. I'm going to take the lab. Ooh, beakers. And containers of things. Walking inside, I see small vials of glass containers held in a clear glass case. Everything is either glass or silver, and I instantly feel like I'm dirtying the place up. I notice several test tubes in the glass cases, as well as some sort of tube system that seems to have clear fluid trapped inside of it. In the back corner, I find a laptop in screensaver mode. Laptop probably has research on it, so I think I'm going to take that. Probably be more useful. I hit the enter key, and a plain gray background pops up. There are several icons and folders to choose from. I click on a folder labeled Test 1.5 Ethos. A few documents are filled with formulas and names that I mostly don't understand, but there's some things that are easy to understand. Things that make my blood go cold. Subject 6, cause of death. Embolism or aneurysm, or both. Ideas for new delivery mode. Spherical liquid. Induce comatose state first. TerraCore Co. equals possible plutonium supplier. Okay. Interesting. That's creepy. Look at the tubes, test tubes. I can't help but check out the test tubes. They're all filled with varying green and light blue fluids. One of them looks to have some sort of glowing dirt resting in the bottom of it. Another holds what looks like a grasshopper submerged in liquid. Only it's the strangest grasshopper I've ever seen. First, it looks like it's expanding and contracting like a blowfish. Then it contracts so much that it vanishes completely. As I look closer, it springs back to existence in a completely different test tube. I'm embarrassed when I actually jump back. I take another look around the lab, trying to piece together what might have been taking place here. I smell some sort of chemical in the air. It makes me think that someone has used this lab recently. Outside the hallway door, I hear Dennis grunting. I head out of the room to see him still seated on the floor. But I don't get very far, because as I exit, a man comes rushing around the corner, with an automatic rifle in his hands. Okay, step back a second. Why do we have grasshoppers that are disappearing and reappearing and like teleporting and stuff? What goes on here? I'm sorry, I just bumped my mic. I really want to know what goes on here now. Hello? It's hard to look beyond his rifle, but the man carrying it is young, with messy dark hair. His skin is so pale that I wonder if maybe he lives down here. He has the look of a guy who's been cooped up for a little too long. He doesn't seem like the kind of person I trust with a gun in a stressful situation. As he sees us in the doorway, he screams and brings the gun up. It is aimed directly at my head. No, hold on. We can be calm. We can do this calmly. I put my hands in the air, surprised as to how natural it feels to go into this surrendered state. Maybe it's because this feels like a dream. Maybe it's because I feel like I'll snap awake if the maniac pulls the trigger. Who are you and how'd you get here? The man asked harshly before we can answer. He continued speaking. I don't recognize you. If you're here, you would have to sneak in by the security. Whoa. You'd have had to sneak in by the security mics in the entrance hall. What? I asked, unable to think of anything else to say. Who are you? The man asked. Did you do this? The man eyes us both, and I see something in his eyes that unsettles me. He's scared, but there's something else. Better tell him the truth. His eyes look distant for a few minutes and he says, bullshit. But for some reason, I'm pretty sure he knows that I'm telling the truth. Someone knocked the power out, the man says. It's back on now, but if it was out long enough, well, we're in a heap of trouble. Was it you? Who sent you? Look, we don't know what you're talking about, Dennis says. Something happened out in the woods. Are you alone? Are there others with you? The armed man asked, thrusting his gun in my face. How the hell did we get in this situation? I think to myself. If we hadn't fallen into that hole, we wouldn't be here. I'm not really sure if we want to be giving this guy information. We don't know anything about him. Then again, we might have answers. No, it's just us here, or we're looking for our crew. They both kind of say the same thing. This one gives more information, though. We have other crew members we can't find, I say. Your crew? He asks, seemingly confused. This man thinks we're nuts. There's no telling what he might do. The fact that he looks a little crazy himself makes the situation even airier. But how'd you get here, the man asks. I pointed the hall towards the subway. We came in that way. The doors weren't locked. His expression calms a bit, but I'm still very aware of the gun that is leveled less than a foot away from my face. I've been kind up to this point. And I'm unsure if I should continue with that. We're gonna continue to be kind. You ask the man calmly to put his gun down. Oh. The only way I'm putting this rifle down is after I've blown your brains out, the man says. With that, he sticks the muzzle of the gun in my face. It's a childish move, a playground tactic at best, but it's sufficient to show me that he knows he's in control. He then levels the rifle at Dennis, and I can only assume it's because his wounds make him appear to be the weaker of us. The man takes a shaky step forward. Dennis looks back and forth between the barrel of the gun and me, his eyes pleading for help. We're gonna step in between there. We're gonna step in there. Before I'm fully aware of what I'm doing, I step out in front of Dennis. The barrel of the rifle is nearly touching my chest now. Both Dennis and the man seem a little confused at my action, but I do my best to swallow down my fear. I don't know what's going on here, I say, but we are here by mistake. Well, you have no business here, the man says, but now the power's on, I think you might be too late anyway. For what? He asks. But he doesn't answer me. Instead, he steps forward and actually pushes me backward with the end of his rifle. The man then repeats the question he asked before, only one that makes no sense, and honestly makes me think he might be a little crazy. Who sent you? He asks. You assholes from the Pentagon? I'm not sure how to take this question. Is this guy joking? Oh my god, yes, I'm the president. Okay, we need to not do that one. That one will probably get me killed. No, I say, we're just loggers. Something blew up and my friend got hurt. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Likely story, the man says, but I see a flicker of recognition in the face that makes me think he might believe me. Still, his grip on the gun is as tight as ever. The look on his face makes me think he'll shoot at any moment. You both just stand still, he says. Sooner or later, someone will come along and I'll turn you over. He again thrusts the gun forward as if it is an invisible bayonet on it. There's no need for that, I tell him. I have no guarantees he won't pull the trigger. Look, Dennis says, we don't want any trouble. We're just as confused as you are. Then, in a movement so fast that I just about missed it, Dennis lunges forward. I have no idea how he's moving so fast. Just 30 seconds ago, I was worried about how close to death he looked. But now he's moving lightning fast, his arms coming down on the barrel of the gun like a club. In the commotion, the man does pull the trigger. The booming noise is deafening, and there's a moment where I think I've been hit. It takes the clanging noise of the round tearing into the floor at my feet to help me realize that I had not been shot. I look to the floor and see where the shot missed my right leg by less than 3 inches. I'm paralyzed, in shock for a moment, as Dennis and the man fight over possession of the rifle. There's a fire extinguisher on the wall. I should use it as a bludgeon, but I might not have enough time to grab it before Dennis is overpowered. No. Just straight up punch his lights out. Go for it. Dennis had the man pinned down on the floor, but it isn't strong enough to keep him down. As I fall to the floor to help, the barrel of the rifle swings right in front of my face, reminder of how close I had come to being shot. On my knees now, I deliver a hard, stiff punch to the man's face. I don't punch someone often. Never, really. I'm not usually the brawling type. Still, it is apparently effective. The man's head snaps back hard, and his grip on the gun loosens. Dennis grabs the gun and falls to the floor, clearly winded and in pain. Our attacker's immobilized, and I can feel a shift in the situation. Yet, although he's basically harmless now, I feel the need to pummel him, a desire that builds with each second I look at him. We're going to take a step back. He's definitely out now, no threat. Or at least, that's what I think. But he surprises me by mustering up one more swift kick in my direction, connecting with my forehead. My eyelids swell to the size of a grate almost immediately. It seems like the last attack is more to spite me than defend himself. I stumble back and ready myself for another round of blows, but he just slouches onto the floor. He's done. Dennis instantly hands the rifle over to me, and I take it with shaking hands. I can't believe you stepped between me and that gun, Dennis says. He could have killed you. I was pretty sure he wouldn't, I said, although I had known no such thing. Still, thanks, man. That was some heroic stuff. Yeah, you would have done the same, right? Dennis says nothing. His eyes look to the floor. What do we do now, boss? Dennis asks. We've come this far, and I want answers. I sense that Dennis does too. We take a hard look at the man before I reply. We get answers from this guy. No answers, the man says. I don't have any. Next time, I won't just hit you, he says. I say, plunging the rifle toward him. Now get up. He obeys quickly, but his legs are wobbly, and he leans against the wall for support. I can feel my swollen eyelid from where he kicked me earlier. I just hope it doesn't get so bad that it affects my sight. All right, let's move, he says, pointing the gun further down the hallway. We've come this far, and I'm not going to let this guy stop us. We walk down the hallway until we come to the end. A single elevator waits for us. Its steel sliding doors larger than a normal elevator. Reinforced for whatever monstrosities might be in this place. There we go. Okay. Before I get into the elevator with this guy, I think it's wise to learn a bit more about him. I can tell it's making him uncomfortable for me to have the gun. What's your name? I ask. Marcus. And you work here? It's clear that he doesn't want to answer, but he gives us a little nod. We're looking for the rest of our crew. Any ideas where they might be? I ask. No, he says curtly, not bothering to elaborate. There's got to be some useful info we can get out of this guy. I just need to know how to dig for it. I need a first aid kit for my friend here, I say. Where might we find one? Down on the second floor, he says. But we can't go down there. What's on level 2? He looks at me like I'm an idiot. You must be aware you're inside of a classified government facility, he says. It makes sense, but I want to doubt it. Well, I'm sure our government would want you to help save my friend, so take me to the first aid kit. I can't, he says. You don't have clearance. Hell, I barely have clearance. Then, seemingly to himself, he mutters, I make this place run. And not even a thank you. Just a bunch of restricted access rooms that I'm only allowed to go into with a frickin' chaperone. I interrupt his monologue. We're going to that first aid kit. I could lose my job, he says. I wonder for a moment what sort of trouble I could get in for hitting a government employee. This makes me glad I took it easy on him. Then again, he had come at us with a rifle. Makes me think that things have gone terribly wrong in this place. And the explosion in the woods, or whatever the hell had happened, might be a link to it all. I need to convince him to take us to the second floor. But I'm not sure if it would be more productive to threaten him or ask for sympathy. That's true. That's a hard one. I'm going to say... I love the music in this, by the way. I don't know if you guys can hear it very well, but I love it. It's on point. We've been kind up to this point. We're going to keep being kind. Look, I say, it hasn't been the best day. We're just trying to find out what's going on, to find our crew, to survive. I know that this isn't a normal situation down here. It looks like all your protocols have been blown to hell. Can't you help us out? He looks at me sternly, weighing his options. Okay, he says. Thank you, I say. With an untrusting stare, Marcus walks to the elevator door, approaching a small keypad by the doors. He punches in a numeral code on the keypad, and we can hear a slight mechanical hum behind the sealed doors. After a few seconds of angry glancing and frightening sneers from Marcus, the elevator arrives. The The steel doors slide open with a whisper, revealing the interior. With a whisper. Shh. It's exceptionally well lit and looks to be made of stainless steel. I half expect the thing to take off at the speed of light. There's another small keypad on the front right panel of the door with the options for 3 sub-level floors. Looks like this elevator doesn't go to the surface. So after we're at the first aid kit for Dennis, how do we get out of here? We can't leave, Marcus says. Once the power comes back on, the whole place was put on lockdown. What? I shout. We can't override it? No, it's to prevent anything from getting out. I can't, Marcus. Marcus looks as deflated as Dennis. We can't get out of here. We're stuck here. Dennis leans to the corner and almost falls on the floor. The struggle for the rifle took a lot out of him. I can see that much on his face. Slowly, we start to move down. The hum and grind of the car's motor fills the space. This is we're gonna go with this one. Marcus scowls at me, and I think it's a fair question. It doesn't seem unreasonable to assume he won't be able to get us out. We'll find somebody with the access codes, and they'll be begging me to figure out how to lift the lockdown. These people think they're so brilliant, but some of them can barely turn their computers on without help. The top coder in my class at MIT, and I'm stuck living underground, helping idiots who can't even trust me with keys. This seems a little too forward here, this one. So I think we're going to go with this one. It's a government facility of the highest secrecy, Marcus says, a research facility. It goes 4 stories underground, and quite frankly, it scares the piss out of me that you two got in here so easily. Why is that? This is a Black Ops graveyard, he replies. Even the CIA doesn't know this place exists. Oh. Well, I mean, it's a research facility, so obviously research goes on here. But I want to know what kind of research. I want to know what we're dealing with. Marcus shakes his head. You might as well shoot me. I can't tell you. Why not? It's beyond classified, and the things I know don't even cover the start of it. What does that mean? I asked, starting to get irritated. It means that even if I wanted to tell you what sort of work is done here, I don't know enough about it. So why were the lights knocked out? It seems like some sort of power outage, Marcus says. That's all I know. There was an outage, and then what? Dennis asks weakly. Then things got weird. Things got bad. Bad how, I ask. The whole place seemed to shake when the lights went out. I was checking the monitors when it happened, and everything went dead. It took no more than a minute or so before I started hearing the screams. People were being killed by something. I tried getting the security cameras going again, but they only lasted for a little bit on my backup systems. But what I saw... What? I asked, feeling a sharp fear worm its way into my guts. Well, what I saw on the screens for a little bit of time made no sense. Made me get the gun from the emergency vault. I think whatever it is, it's still down here. Hold on, I say. There's an emergency vault with a rifle in the same room as the security cameras in this place. Marcus gives me a grin and looks nearly insane. There are guns locked away in every room in this place, just in case, you know? In case of what? In case monstrosities of the 3rd degree come to life and decide to murder humanity? Hold on a second. Oh my goodness, I hate this house. In case of what? As he opens his mouth to answer, the elevator comes to a stop and the door slides open. Marcus is out right away without a word. He takes his exit and heads directly for a glassed-in room that's filled with computer monitors and high-end equipment. Dennis and I file out behind him, trying to keep up. As we do, one very alarming question runs through my mind. What the hell kind of government facility keeps loaded guns in emergency vaults in every single room? End chapter 2. Let's see what we do. Curiosity. You and 39% of players obeyed the warning signs and stayed away from the glow. Selflessness. You and 64% of players stepped in front of Dennis to protect him from Marcus. Mercy. You and 65% of players were easy on Marcus after he surrendered. And there you have it. The end of chapter 2. That was fun. That was creepy. That was a lot of things. So yeah. That was that. And next time I'm guessing probably we're going to meet these monstrosities that appear to be killing government operatives. But until then, make sure to hit that like button if you did enjoy, and subscribe to keep up to date with this series as well as everything else that I do. And apart from that, I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye!